I want to give you a little copywriting shortcut. And this works in so many different media. And I'm thinking about it specifically because somebody asked me to look at a couple of Facebook ads that some different people have written as part of a coaching thing that I have going on. And so I'm looking at these different Facebook ads, and one thing that jumps out at me is how much they all feel like they're written by somebody who's trying to write copy. They all feel like they're written by somebody who's trying to write copy. And my copywriting shortcut to you that's going to help you write much better copy that captures the attention of your target audience better is not to write like you're trying to be a copywriter. Instead, write from the knowledge base of a copywriter, but like you're trying to write for the media that you're writing for. So what does that mean? So specific to this particular person, specific to the particular Facebook ads that I was looking at, when your Facebook ad reads like an ad, it's not going to get the same engagement and excitement on Facebook as somebody's post. And what you want, what the Facebook algorithm rewards, is advertising that gets response like a social post. And so instead of writing like, "Do you want to solve this problem?" what do people actually write on Facebook? Like, "Oh man, listen to me. I was dealing with this problem. It was a total pain in the butt. This is just a public service announcement. I just want, if you're dealing with this problem, I want to let you know, here's what you need to do to solve it," right? Like totally different voice, totally different attitude, totally different phrasing, totally different approach to writing. And if you're writing stuff that feels like ads, yeah, there's some stuff that scales pretty well on Facebook that feels like ads. But the stuff that works really well is often almost invisible if you're scrolling through Facebook looking for ads, because it feels way more like a post. Like, "Hey, I want to celebrate this big win that my client had because I'm celebrating them because they had this success by following along with this method. And it's just important to me to celebrate these people's successes. And hey, if you're interested at all in this method, you can go check it out here." That feels like it could just be somebody's Facebook post. And if it's targeted to the right audience, right? Like if I'm a copywriter and that's a copywriting person and I'm talking about this person's copywriting success, and a lot of my friends on Facebook are copywriters, then like just me talking about that success in my own post is going to get resonance from all those friends, and there's going to be likes and there's going to be comments and there's going to be all of that, right? And that's what Facebook wants, and they want that from your ads too. Right? And so the shortcut is to think from the knowledge base of a copywriter, but write like you're just writing on that media. Like you're just trying to put more content that fits. Some people can call, like, this has been called native advertising, but the native advertising kind of got spun into something else. This is the whole idea behind native advertising. And so that's Facebook, right? And actually, my friend and colleague and client, Perry Marshall, he taught from the very early days that Facebook, like the difference between Google ads and Facebook ads, because he was teaching people how to run ads in both places. The difference between Google ads and Facebook ads is that Facebook is largely like a coffee shop, right? And so people are going there, they're going there to have conversations with friends, they're going to talk about interesting things, they're going to share stories, they're going to, not be sold to, not see ads. They're going to engage with interesting topics, right? And so if you write your ad like, "Hey, this is an interesting conversation and I'd love it if you were part of it," that's the kind of stuff that resonates on Facebook, because it's like a coffee shop where people are having conversations. And sure, in a conversation like that, it can make sense to say, "Hey, you can, go check out more information here." Or you want to know more, like, this is what you need to do to learn more, right? But at a coffee shop, you don't say, you don't meet somebody new and say, "I'd like to tell you the top 3 ways to get paid as a copywriter," or some BS, right? Like that's not how you approach those conversations, right? You have to make it feel native to the format, right? Native advertising. So flip that, and what Perry taught about Google Ads is Google is basically the yellow pages online. You look up whatever thing that you're looking for, right? You flip to the topic, and then you get the listings of what you want. And so the way that you write a Google ad is, hey, if you're looking for this solution to this problem, I have the solution to this problem. And it's a very different style. And basically, you're writing your Google ad, with the classic text ads on search results. You're writing those to map to to what people are expecting in terms of the search results. And still largely, like, you have to format it like search results. And the better that you can do that, treat it like, hey, I have exactly what you were searching for, the better your Google ads will do. Flip that to like native ads that appear on news sites, and your if your ad is gonna run like on the ad networks that appear on various news sites, you want it to look like it's another news article. And people are scrolling through, they're reading like weather.com news articles or whatever. I know that weather.com has a lot of native ads on it, or ad network ads. They're scrolling and they're just like, oh, I read this article and now it's showing me more articles, and you want yours to be the most interesting article headline that they have to click on to learn more, right? And again, like you're mapping your ad to the format. And this is not new online, by the way. Nothing is. Like there's tracking and capabilities and like the instant access to everything that is new online. But if you go back, a lot of space ads that worked really well in print media worked best when they were basically formatted like the articles in the publication, with a headline that read like the articles in the publication and layout that looked like it and font that matched, to the point where different publications started requiring these advertisers to put advertisement at the top just to make it clear that it's something different. If you notice, like the image ads that appear in magazines and newspapers and whatever, those image ads that are clearly advertisements that are really obvious, those are not required to be labeled with advertisement. It's the ones that blend in with the content, because people are engaging with those publications because they want the content. And it's the ones that blend in with the content that the publication wants to make sure that the readers know are not explicitly content like created by the publication, right? But still, it's the same principle. And that's what works really well in those media, that you make it look as much like the content as possible, and people will engage with it like the normal content. And that's how you get attention, which is kind of counterintuitive, because you'd think like, like the really old websites where it was like flashing text, flashing background, all of that gets attention, right? Part of the reason MySpace crashed and burned in the end, I'm convinced, is because they let everybody create these crazy backgrounds that were the equivalent of like a 1998 website. And really why Facebook succeeded is that they created this consistent experience of like all of this, everybody's content mixed together. And so if you want to write for Facebook, it should read like Facebook. If you want to write an email, just imagine not how you should write a marketing email. Yes, again, we have to have all of the awareness and understanding of a copywriter to make sure, for example, that we include a call to action, that we know the action that we want someone to take, right? But if you want to write an email, don't think of it just like, oh, I want to write an email. Think of it like don't think of it like I want to write email copywriting. Think of it like, hey, I'm writing this email to my friend because I've found something that I think that they'd really appreciate. And this friend should like align with your target audience, right? But you write this email to your friend and you're like, hey, I really think you should check this out. Here's why I think it's super cool. Here's why I think that it's super relevant to you. Here's the value that I think that you'll get if you just click this link and go check this out. And by the way, I think you should do it right now, right? Like maybe that feels more like marketing because it's coming out of my mouth right now and I don't have the opportunity to to finesse it into feeling like a more personal email. But how would you write a personal email to a friend who is the ideal target prospect for your offer based on whatever action you want them to take in the end? That's how you write good email copy. The Facebook, you write a Facebook post that happens to have the appropriate call to action at the end. You know, a Google ad, you want it to look like the best search listing for whatever keyword or search phrase is being bid on. All of these things, think about it not from like, how can I as a copywriter use all the, classical headline formulas and whatever and create this like exists in a vacuum copy, but how can I make this as much like the absolute best thing that they would normally consume or engage with on this platform today? So, Facebook, you want it to be like the best Facebook post that they would engage with, regardless of it being an ad or just organic content. Google, how can I create the best Google search listing for this particular term, regardless of it being ad or organic content? Just email. How can I make this the most interesting email they're going to receive all day, and the most engaging email they're going to receive all day, regardless of it being a commercial or organic, friend to friend email? All of these things. Just how can I make what I'm doing the most interesting piece of content that is a perfect fit to the best content in this medium? And when you do that, it just makes the copy have a very different feel. And, maybe this actually in the beginning is less of a shortcut because it requires you to stop what you've been doing so far. It like breaks your brain as far as the way that you've been told to write copy, which is, all the headline formulas and all the classic promises and whatever. But when you do this, once you get going at this copy is actually super easy to write because you're just writing like a human being, writing to other human beings inside the format of whatever. And to wrap it all up, I was actually talking to this even applies to video sales letters. I was talking to a client and they said the last piece of copy that they got that was just really, really terrible. The way that he described it to me is that this VSL script read like copy. It came out like this person was just making a bunch of promises about the product, and they explain what you would get in the product and all of that. And yeah, that stuff fits like later on in the conversation when you're actually getting to the product and what you're going to get out of the product. There is a way to present all of that stuff conversationally. But the VSLs that work for his business and across businesses are essentially like storytellers. Somebody sitting down and they are telling a story about, using my Paizo formula, right? Like, I had this problem, this challenge, like I was in this terrible situation and I wanted out, and I knew that there had to be a way out, but I didn't know what it was. And in fact, I was starting to feel helpless. Like there was all this emotional agitation around it, right? Problem, agitate, this is what it felt like to be in that darkest hour. And then I figured out I had to come up with a solution, but I started trying things and everything I tried was coming up short. They were all invalid. Problem, agitate, invalidate. So all these other solutions that I tried were invalid. And then I got really clear on if all those other things didn't work, I knew what I had to do to make it work. And here's what an ideal solution was going to look like. And then I figured out nobody had it, so I had to create it myself. So problem, agitate, invalidate, solve. And then I created it myself. And this is the action that I took: problem, agitate, invalidate, solve, ask, or action. And this is the action that I took. This is the offer that, or the product that I created, the solution that I created, the service that I created. And basically other people told me I had to share it with the world. And so if you want to take action today and grab this, you have it. And it's just this very natural, I call it the hero's journey of story selling, the hero's journey of story selling, because it's this very natural format of telling stories of like a product was created to solve a problem. And even if you created the product just to make money, there's probably people out there in your audience, your clients, your customers that had the same problem that you can then you can tell their version of that Pisa story. They had the problem. Here's how it was agitating. They looked for solutions. They were all invalid. They figured out what an ideal solution had to contain. And so they found our solution, and then they took action, and now you can take action too, right? So you're just looking to pull these stories out and to tell them. And so in a video sales letter, having it be just this conversational storytelling style of like going through this discovery process of the solution to the problem or how to fulfill an unfulfilled need, like it's just a natural format for one person talking to another. And it works really well inside video sales letters and other video sales. So yeah, copywriting shortcut. Find a way to just like tell your human to human message and have it mapped to whatever media you're using. And the more that you can do that, and the less it sounds like copywriter to human writing, the easier it will be for you to create success. And it becomes a shortcut, not just because eventually once you break those old bad habits of writing like a copywriter, your writing will come faster, but it's also a shortcut to success because your writing will perform better. My name is Roy Furr. This has been a video issue of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. I'd love it if you could leave a comment with this and let me know on a scale of 1 to 10 how valuable you found it and why. What's your big takeaway? What's your action item? Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to approach copy differently as a result of watching this? Also, tap that like button before you go so you get more content like this. And so the magical algorithm of the internet algorithms will know to share it with more people like you who will find it valuable. You can certainly share it with folks directly and subscribe before you go. Subscribe here. You can also go to breakthroughmarketingsecrets.com, get my daily emails Monday through Friday, including these videos and exclusive content for email subscribers. Again, Roy Furr for Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. I always aim for that 10 out of 10 value. I hope that I've delivered it here, and I look forward to seeing you again in your next video. I'll see you soon. Bye.